Good morning. This is Megha. Today we are going to learn the first lesson of social studies, that is Vijayanagar Empire. So Vijayanagar Empire was founded in 1336 on the southern bank of Tungabhadra river by the sons of Sangama called Harihara, Bukkaraya, Kampanna, Marappa and Muddappa. Hampi of Ballari district was their capital and the national emblem was boar. So here they are saying that it was founded by the sons of Sangama, that is Harihara, Bukkaraya, Kampanna, Marappa and Muddappa. And Hampi of the Ballari district was their capital and the national emblem was boar. The Vijayanagar Empire was ruled by 4 dynasties called Sangama dynasty, Saluva dynasty, Tuluva dynasty and Aravidu dynasty. 4 dynasties ruled this Vijayanagar Empire, that is Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva and Aravidu dynasties. So Sangama dynasty, Harihara was the first king of this dynasty. He controlled all over the regions of Tungabhadra river. He extended his empire to Konkan coastal areas to the west and to the east. So Harihara was the first king. He was the first king of this Sangama dynasty. He extended his empire towards the east and west. Later on, after his death, his brother Bukkaraya came to the power. Harihara was not having any son. Hence, because of this, his brother Bukkaraya took the power. Bukkaraya was the brother of Harihara. And during the rule of Bukkaraya, his son Kampanna expanded the empire by defeating the Sultan of Madurai. And he married his daughter named Ganga Devi. He married the daughter of the king and named Ganga Devi. So this the battle of that was written by Ganga Devi, how he defeated and how he got the name and fame. It was written by Ganga Devi. So after Bukkaraya, Harihara II, Bukkaraya II and Virupaksha II, Devaraya II, Veera Vijayaraya ruled the Vijayanagar Empire. So once this Bukkaraya and Kampanna's rule got over, later on Harihara II, Bukkaraya II, Virupaksha II, Devaraya II and Veera Vijayaraya ruled the Vijayanagar Empire. So what did this Devaraya II done during his rule? That is, he was one of the famous king of Sangama dynasty. He built a new army including Muslim soldiers who were skilled in archery and horse taming. With the help of this army, he defeated Reddy leaders of Kondavidu region. He defeated famous Mughal fort Raichur and Bankapur by fighting with Ahmad Shah of Brahmani Sultan. His brave commander called Lakhana Dandesha defeated the kings of Kerala and Sri Lanka and collected the treasures and tribute in cash for them. So here they are saying that he was a very famous king. He built a new army which included Muslim sultans in it, and they were very skilled. They were very skilled in archery and horse riding. Hence he built a very vast army by including those Muslim soldiers. And his commander Lakhana Dandesha defeated all the kings of Kerala and Sri Lanka and took all the goods and cash which were present with them, and even they took the treasures. Prodha Devaraya, who had religious tolerance, built Jain and Vaishnava temples in the capital, and also he permitted to build mosques. So they had a religion tolerance and they started to build even mosques in their empire, and even they permitted to build Jain and Vaishnava temples. So he got a title, this Devaraya II got a title Gajabentegara and many more. After his death, his son Mallikarjuna took the power, and even his son Virupaksha ruled this Vijayanagara, but they were very weak rulers. They were not strong enough to handle this. Hence, because of this reason, there was a strong commander, Saluva Narasimha, who was present in their capital. He looked after the kingdom later on. From this, the Sangama dynasty came to an end. Suluva dynasty was taken, Suluva Narasimha took the power in Suluva dynasty and he ruled for 6 years. He ruled for 6 years, and later on, after his death, his children were very minor. They could not take the power as they were very small. Because of this, there was a commander named Tuluva Narasimha. He took the power after the Suluva Narasimha, and from there this Tuluva dynasty started. Tuluva dynasty was ruled by Tuluva Narasimha, and after the death of Tuluva Narasimha, his brother Krishnadevaraya took the power. Krishnadevaraya took the power in the year 1505. He was one of the famous and greatest king among other Vijayanagara kings. At the beginning years of his rule, he had to face many problems. Of course, he faced many problems in the beginning, but later on he built a very vast empire with the help of other soldiers which he had. He resized Shivanasamudra fort from Umatur Shif Ganga Raja in 1510. He won Raichur fort. He supported Portuguese to capture Goa from Bijapur, and even he captured Cuttack, the capital of Gajapati Prataprudra, a Kalinga king. He was a Kalinga king. He captured Cuttack from him and he married his daughter by defeating him. Daughter name was Jagan Mohini. He married Jagan Mohini by defeating the Kalinga king named Gajapati Prataprudra. Later on, he captured Raichur from the king Adil Shah. He recaptured the Raichur. First he lost the battle, and again he recaptured the Raichur from king Adil Shah. And even he captured forts, Kalburgi fort and Bidar fort. He got released the son of king who was imprisoned by Brahmini prime minister, and because of this he got a title Yavana Rajya Pratishtapana Charya. So because as he released the son of a king who was imprisoned by the Brahmini prime minister, he got a title Yavana Rajya Pratishtapana Charya. So he extended his empire in all the 4 directions. And people used to say Krishnadevaraya was a soft person with a strong body. So later on, Rakasa Tangadi battle started. After Krishnadevaraya, Achyutaraya and Sadashivaraya ruled Vijayanagara. Since Sadashivaraya was a minor and unable to rule, Ramaraya of Aravidu dynasty, he was the son of Krishnadevaraya. He started his administration and he took over the power in this kingdom. He made it very rich. As he made it very rich, even number of enemies also became more. The number of enemies started increasing. On 23rd January 1565, Rakasatangadi battle was started. It was between the united army of sultans and between the army of Vijayanagara on the bank of Krishna river. Ramaraya died in this war. Ramaraya, who was the son-in-law of Krishnadevaraya, he died in this battle, and sons of Ramaraya escaped from this war. They escaped and they moved to Penukonda. And from there again they started their Aravidu dynasty. They started their ruling from 1570 to 1646. So let's see there are some of the cultural contributions of this Vijayanagar Empire. That is administration. Vijayanagar Empire had strong central administration and it adopted decentralized administrative system. There were many ministers to assist the kings. They had a very strong and central administration, and he kept many of the ministers to assist the king. Before taking any decisions or before doing any work, he used to take the advice of those ministers. And he divided the kingdom into provinces. And these provinces were later divided into regions, and these regions into cities, and cities into villages. In this way the administration moved on, and even he started to take 1/6 of the land revenue, which included trade tax, profession tax, road tax, fair tax and export tax. So coming to the social status, child marriage sati system and devadasi system were in practice. So he in this era he started respecting the women, and many festivals started to celebrate. They started to celebrate many festivals like Diwali and Dasara. Dasara was the festival which was celebrated under king's patronage. So they started celebrating many festivals which included Diwali and Dasara. So coming to the economic status, agriculture was their main occupation. They started to do agriculture. Rice, maize, sugarcane and cotton crops were the major crops. Kings of Vijayanagar encouraged agriculture through building tanks and wells, which were used to help for the plants to grow. They started building tanks and wells. And they had a trade links which other countries, they even had a trade links with other countries which included rice, cotton, clothes, irons, diamonds, sugar, sandal and species were exported. Horses, silk cloths were imported. Horses and silk cloths were imported. Okay. Vijayanagar was the international business center for diamonds. Golden coins were also in use during the empire, and pictures of god and goddesses were etched on these coins. So coming to the literature, Vijayanagar empire had a literature, the reign of Vijayanagar literature of Sanskrit, Telugu and Kannada literature developed. Vidyaranya wrote books like Shankara Vijaya and Sarvadarshana Sangraha in Sanskrit. They wrote those books in Sanskrit. And Ganga Devi wrote a book named Madhura Vijayam, and Pradha Devaraya wrote a great drama called as Sudhanidhi, and Jambavati Kalyana was written by Krishna Devaraya. Then later on Kumaravyasa wrote Gadugina Bharata, and so on. Many literature was written by many of the different poets. And Bhima wrote a poet named Basava Purana with the contributions to the Veerashaiva literature. His contribution with the Veerashaiva literature. Krishna Devaraya encouraged the Telugu literature, as even he was a poet himself. He wrote Amukta Malyada in Telugu. in Telugu. Tenali Ramakrishna and even others were present in his court. He himself was a poet. There were 8 famous scholars called as Ashtadiggajas in his kingdom. So, religious harmony. Kings of Vijayanagara kingdom were great followers of religious tolerance. They built a mosque in their capital. The Shravana-Belgola inscription of 1368 tells us that Bukkaraya solved difference of opinions between Jains and Vaishnavas. And any religion can live happily in Vijayanagara kingdom. They say that any religion, people of any religion can live happily in this Vijayanagara kingdom, because there was no difference of opinion between the religions, and hence all were respected. Because of these kings respected all the people who were present in their kingdom. Art of sculpture. So great historian Percy Brown, on observing the temples, monuments and sculpture statues, stated that art and sculpture of Vijayanagara was the evolutionary form of Dravidian style. It was taken from the Dravidian style. The temples of that period were built with the strong granite rocks. Those temples were built with a single strong granite rocks. It was built with the rocks. Kalyana Mandapa of Virupaksha temple in Hampi, Hajara Ramaswamy temple, Vittala Swami temple, Krishna Swami temple, Kamala Mahal, Sringeri, Vidyashankara temple were some of the important temples of those kingdoms which were built in their rule. And even they had a very wide halls and meeting halls, which were the features of temples of Vijayanagara period. And even Kalahasti, Srishail, Tirupati, you can see the art and sculpture of Vijayanagar. there. Over there, if you go there, you can see the art and sculpture of Vijayanagar in the places named Kalahasti, Srishail and Tirupati. Stone chariot, idol of Narasimha and Ganpati, illustrate the monolithic stone sculpture of the Vijayanagara region. You can see in the page number 11, stone chariot, idol of Narasimha and Ganpati, which is present in Hampi. They are saying these are the monolithic stone sculpture, which means they are built in a single stone. With a single stone, these are built. No other additional stones are added to them. Purandaradasa and Kanakadasas contributed a lot to this field. They are saying in the field of this kingdom, Purandaradasa and Kanakadasa contributed a lot. So, this was all about the cultural contributions of Vijayanagar Empire.